Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, so we're all told to get smarter. But what does that even mean, really? Today, we're going to skip all the vague life hacks and dig into a simple but super powerful system for actually learning things and, making them stick.
Right. Let's just start with this. A pretty blunt and cynical take from our source material. The idea that all those years of traditional school will automatically make you smart and successful, well, this suggests it might just make you broke. And honestly, it perfectly sets up the problem we're trying to solve here.
And that brings us to the whole get smart fantasy. I mean, when we say we want to be smarter, what are we really trying to do? It's probably not about memorizing a bunch of trivia facts, right? It's got to be about something way more practical.
When you really boil it down, it comes down to these four things. We want to learn skills that actually make us useful, skills that can make us money. We want to get good at solving real-world problems. For sure, we want better grades and to tackle those tough subjects. And maybe the trickiest one, we want to sound smart in a conversation without coming across as a total know-it-all nerd.
Now, the internet is just flooded with advice on how to do this. You've seen it. Brain food, brain hacks, you know the drill. But let's be honest with ourselves, they almost always miss the point. I mean, you've seen this exact list a million times, right? Eat more blueberries, listen to Mozart, take an IQ test. These are the usual suspects. And look, these things aren't bad for you, but they're not the main event. They're more like side quests.
And here is the absolute key. You can eat all the blueberries in the world, but they're not going to magically teach you how to code or fix a car. At some point, you have to do the actual work of learning. All that other stuff, it's just a support system for the main thing.
So if all those little hacks aren't the answer, what is? Well, our source argues that the single most powerful tool is ridiculously simple. It's just reading.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. It's not just about reading more, it's about reading strategically. Fiction? That's like going to the gym for your brain. It builds your reading speed and your vocabulary. Nonfiction, on the other hand, that's what stocks your mind with all those interesting ideas you can actually use in a real conversation.
And this right here, this is such a vital part of social intelligence. It's not just about what you know, it's all about how you share it. Because nobody likes that, person. The goal is to be the humble genius, the person who shares what they know in a way that invites people in instead of making them feel dumb.
But look, reading is only half the battle. This next part, this is arguably the most important piece of the whole puzzle. All the knowledge in the world doesn't mean a thing if your brain just dumps it out a day later. So how do you actually make it stick?
Your brain is a ruthlessly efficient machine. Seriously. Like this says, if you don't practice a skill, your brain just assumes it's useless junk and deletes it to make space. The only way you can mark information as important and worth saving is to actually apply it.
And this brings us right to the 80-20 rule. To get like 80% of the results in almost any skill, you usually only need to master the core 20% of the ideas. But, and this is the big but, you can't just read about that 20%. You absolutely have to practice it relentlessly. That is the non-negotiable part.
And here it is. This is the core system of this entire explainer, the learning loop. And it's so simple. Step 1, learn it. Read the chapter, watch the tutorial, whatever. Step 2, do it. Immediately go and apply what you just learned. And if you can't physically do it, like say you're learning about car engines but can't take one apart right this second, you go to step 3, imagine it. You visualize yourself performing that skill in as much detail as you can. This loop is the secret sauce.
So if this loop is so effective, why do we forget almost everything we learn in school? Let's take a look at the problem with tests through this whole use it or lose it idea.
This definition is just such a brilliant way to frame it. A school test is basically a forced version of step 3, imagine it. It creates this artificial, high-stakes situation to trick your brain into thinking this specific information is temporarily vital.
And there's the fundamental flaw. The second the test is over, the artificial pressure just vanishes. Your brain goes, okay, cool, that's not useful anymore, and it starts deleting the files. This is the exact reason we can cram for a final and remember absolutely nothing a week later.
So the big takeaway here for anyone who's studying is this. Passive learning, stuff like just rereading your notes over and over, is kind of like pouring water into a leaky bucket. Active practice, like doing practice problems, is what actually locks that knowledge in. You're simulating the do-it step, which is just so much more powerful.
So, as we wrap this up, the shift in your thinking is really simple, but it's profound. Don't just ask yourself, what do I want to learn? Instead, ask, What information will I make useful today? Because the path to actually becoming smarter isn't about how much you consume, it's all about application. So, what are you going to go out and do with what you just learned?